up, guys? It is Jordan here with our squad. This is episode 86. Pretty crazy, but this is the end of the month of May, which also means it is the end of the spring semester of our squad 2020. We are going to be bringing Quarantine Thoughts Volume 2 as we wrap out the spring semester. For me, this is really kind of just a look back on the last 2.5 months or so, looking at things that I've been able to learn about myself, that I believe God is leading me to share with other people. And I'm hoping and believing that this isn't just stuff that I've been dealing with, but also things that you can be encouraged by and benefit from as well. A couple weeks into quarantine here in North Carolina, I got to be a part of a Zoom meeting with some other leaders and pastors and friends talking about church and life and what we were learning and growing and doubts and concerns and all that stuff. And someone shared a thought that I want to serve as sort of the premise or beginning of our conversation today. And it was this. He said, crisis doesn't build our character. It doesn't build our leadership. Crisis reveals our character. Crisis reveals who we are. It exposes what is inside of us, what is within us. You've seen those videos going around about people putting the rubber bands on the watermelon, like they keep putting the rubber bands on the watermelon until it just explodes. When pressure is applied to something, when it's squeezed and pushed and molded together, eventually it explodes. And eventually stuff comes out. You get to see what's on the inside. Allow me to explain this way here. We're gonna make some orange juice. So I've got my thing here, got my orange. We need some lights. We need some light. What? I don't know what the light switches in my house do really. Okay, so we've got our orange here. It's kind of a nasty orange. We got our bowl and let's make some orange juice. Really only one step to making orange juice. Get a, what's this thing called? A bowl, pan. This thing, I still can't think of what it is, so we're just gonna keep rolling. You need one of these. You need an orange. Oh gosh, what? Okay, and then you squeeze it. Are we getting that? Alright. Yeah, okay. We got some of the juice coming out right there. I want you to check this out. Alright. Come on back. What comes out when you get squeezed? When you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. That's what I found. How many oranges does it take to make a thing of orange juice? But when you get squeezed, when there's pressure on you coming from all different places, when there's fear, when there's a global pandemic, when you don't have school anymore, when this is going on and that's going on, what comes out of you? What's within you that gets exposed? Many times as really just humans, we don't work to resolve things or fix things or get healing into our lives for certain areas until they are exposed, until they are revealed, until they're put out in plain sight and we can't run and hide from them any longer. And we're like, oh gosh, what is that? That's in me? That thing was lurking around inside of me and I was just oblivious to it, or I was just suppressing it and pushing it down. So I didn't have to deal with the reality that that thing inside of me is nasty and it needs to go. Maybe over the last 2 or 3 months, you have felt metaphorically squeezed. And what's coming out is you realizing and discovering that you're a person who loves to plan and have everything set in stone and the future laid out before you in nice, easy steps. And lately you've been a worrier. What about this and what if that? You've been living in the fear of the unknown or in not having everything figured out. Maybe what's coming out of you right now is that you're not a patient person. You're desiring to move forward and bypass and step over all these things, and you're just so over it at this point. You're just not patient. You may be missing out on things that God's trying to teach you because you're just ready to move on. Maybe what's been coming out of you is disappointment and frustration. You just don't know where to turn. You feel alone. You feel lost. You feel like no no one's paying attention. And now you're struggling with, well, who even am I? What do I even have that I can count on and rely on? You're scared of the fact that people may get to know you in this season and realize there's nothing there. Something that God's been teaching me over the last few months is in times of fear, worry, doubt, pain, in times of crisis, if I don't know who I am, I won't know what to do. Right, so let me explain. When school gets taken away and pulled out of the picture, if my identity's wrapped up in who I am at school, what people think I am at school, the appearance of success in academics or in sports, in my friend group, if all my identity is built off of school and who people think I am there, and that gets pulled out, now what? Who am I? What do I have to lean on to? What do I have to identify myself by? Maybe you're just a go-getter and your schedule's always filled up and you're busy and you're grinding and you're hustling and you're going and you're moving from sports to practice to this to that. You're always on the go, and that gets taken away. Now you can't go places. Now you can't do things, and now you're at home by yourself alone, and you're slowed down and you're forced to be still. What happens? If your identity is rooted in moving and achieving and succeeding and accomplishing, and that gets taken away, now what? These are just some examples, but what crisis is revealing to me, what it's exposing within me, is that I am not very good at being alone, and I'm not very good at being quiet. I'm not good at it. It drives me crazy. I can't sit still for 5 seconds without grabbing my phone and opening up Instagram. I have a really hard time being at home without having the TV in the background playing, I don't know, it's not even playing sports right now. I don't even know what it's playing. Without music on, without something to fall asleep to. I'm bad at being in the quiet and being alone to deal with myself. But crisis is pulling out of me that is a huge area of growth for me right now, because that's an area God can use to speak to me. And I would imagine maybe for some of you, it's an area of growth that is being revealed to you as well. I want to show you one song from the Bible. It's found in the book of Psalms in number 139. That's a lot of different songs that were written. I mean, David, this guy's written more songs than Taylor Swift. The reason that I want to look at Psalm 139 is because David outlines an incredible strategy for us as it pertains to dealing with what crisis is revealing in our lives. As I said earlier, in crisis, if I don't know who I am, I won't know what to do. And no matter what you've been going through over the past 2 or 3 months, no matter how much pressure you felt, no matter how much you felt squeezed, no matter what crisis is revealing or stirring up within you, I want to read this psalm to you because I think it can be helpful. But I also want to read it over you because if you can see and hear and believe the words about who you are, you will also have a greater understanding of what to do about this crisis. O Lord, you have examined my heart and know everything about me. You know when I sit down or stand up. You know my thoughts even when I'm far away. You see me when I travel and when I rest at home. You know everything I do. You know what I'm going to say even before I say it, Lord. You go before me and follow me. You place your hand of blessing on my head. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It's too great for me to understand. I can never escape from your spirit. I can never get away from your presence. If I go up to heaven, you are there. If I go down to the grave, you are there. If I ride the wings of the morning, if I dwell by the farthest oceans, even there your hand will guide me and your strength will support me. I could ask the darkness to hide me and the light around me to become night, but even in darkness I cannot hide from you. To you the night shines as bright as day. Darkness and light are the same to you. You made all the delicate inner parts of my body and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous, how well I know it. You watched me as I was being formed in utter seclusion, as I was woven together in the dark of the womb. You saw me before I was born. Every day of my life was recorded in your book. Every moment was laid out before a single day had passed. How precious are your thoughts about me, O God. They cannot be numbered. I can't even count them. They outnumber the grains of sand. And when I wake up, you are still with me. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you, and lead me along the path of everlasting life. Because David knows who he is, David knows what to do in times of crisis, and it's very simple. He asks God to search deep within inside himself so that things inside of him can be pulled and pointed out that are not in line with God's plan and design for David's life. But we gotta be honest. We gotta be ready. If we ask God to search us, if we ask God to squeeze us a bit so that things that are not meant to be within us come out and are exposed, we've gotta be ready to deal with those things the way that God wants us to deal with them. So I've got 2 questions, and they're the most simple questions that I could possibly bring to you. And I really want you to answer them honestly. You're not gonna be posting about this or anything like that, so grab a pen, maybe your notes or something, and I want you to answer these questions. The first one is, who are you? Who are you? What's your identity? I don't want you to write down what you wish you were or what other people see you as. I want you to write down who you are. And if you've questioned that or thought about that over the last 2 or 3 months, I want you to be honest about that as you write it down. I'm not really sure who I am. I'm struggling to figure out what my identity is. I hope you would also look back at Psalm 139 to see how David frames and sees his identity as an incredible masterpiece, the workmanship of God that comes together to form him, that saw him when he was in the womb. David's someone who finds his identity in knowing that he has God's undivided attention at all times, and that he's got God's unfiltered affection, that there's no amount of things he could do that could ever separate him from the love of God. Not who do you want to be, but right now in this moment, who are you? What do you believe to be true about yourself? And number 2, how are you? Really? We say, how are you all the time? How are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm fine. Okay, now I'm gonna ask a second time. So, how are you? Fine. All right, this time, how are you? Really, how are you? What are the last 2-3 months revealing? What are they exposing in your life and in your heart? Is God searching you right now? Are you allowing him to point out the things in your life and heart that are not a part of his purpose for your life? Not where do you wish you were, not how do you wish you were doing, how are you doing right now? If you've got questions about these questions, or if you've got questions for me or someone at our squad or whatever it may be, I want you to understand and know something, that when you know who you are, when you find your identity in God and believe what he says about you, that you're a masterpiece, that you're his handiwork, that you're perfect, that you've got his attention and his affection, that will help you and lead you to understanding what to do. To daily allow God to search your heart and your soul, to pull out the things that are not designed to be there, so that you can live the most satisfying and the most fulfilling life in step and relationship with Jesus. I love you guys. I miss you guys so much. Please allow God to reveal and to do a great work in your life throughout this process. Hope to see you soon. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you found it helpful. We've got so many other videos on our channel, so make sure to check a few of those out. Make sure to ring the bell to stay connected with everything going on here at our squad. See you next time.